It's the season of glitz, glamour, and poise and intelligence. It's the season of pageantry. Hello and welcome to the 2019 edition of Journey to the Throne. Sure, we missed last year and you know why, but we are back, and this year we will introduce to you the 5 contestants vying for the most prestigious title in the land, the Miss Dominica title. And with me today, I have contestant number 1, Miss Aliyah Martin. Welcome, Aliyah.
Thank you.
So, introduce yourself. I know I just said your name, but introduce yourself to the audience. Let them know who you are, what community you are representing.
Hello, Dominica. I am 20-year-old Aliyah Martin, representing the vibrant community of Campbell. I am sponsored by Corisap Inc., a registered full-service architecture, engineering, and construction management company.
Okay, great. We'll get to talk a little bit more about your sponsor. But Aliyah, I have this question for you. I'm sure every contestant was asked to dip to know what number they would appear, in what order they would appear in the pageant, and you selected number 1.
Right.
How did you feel when you saw that you were going to be the first contestant in this pageant?
Well, at first, I would have to say that I was not too pleased, as I would be the one opening the show, and my appearances at every activity before the show would have to be number 1. However, when I looked at it on the bright side, I decided that it was a good decision that I did pick number 1, as I would be the one setting the pace for the show.
Well, you said it's a decision, but really it's fate, right?
Right.
But you said at first, you felt a little bit disappointed. Is it that you felt that you would be placed under a lot of pressure?
I felt so. I felt that I would be placed under a lot of pressure, and I might have to be the one starting everything.
Yeah, the one setting the pace.
Right.
Right. So you represent the community of Campbell, you said. Tell us about Aliyah being raised, growing up in the community of Campbell.
Growing up in the community of Campbell, I would have to say, shaped my life, made me who I am today. I was not into a lot of technology growing up. I would spend a lot of time on my grandfather's farm, playing with my cousins, and into nature. Anything that dealt with nature, flowers, hiking, and so on. So it was a really good experience.
So would you consider yourself a little bit of a tomboy, or?
Well, I would not use the word tomboy. However, I do have a lot of skills that boys can do.
Okay, so basically you raised up, in the farm, basically?
Right.
Raising up in the community. And so along the way, I assume you started liking pageantry. What made you be interested in the world of pageantry?
The glitz, the glamour, it has always caught my attention. And in primary school, I did have the ability, or the experience, I would say, for participating in a few princess shows.
Okay.
It might not have been a national show, however, that actually prepared my mindset to take part in the Miss Dominica pageant.
Okay, that's wonderful. So that means that you have a little bit of experience, not on the national stage, but you have a little bit of experience.
Yes.
But let's backtrack a little, as I spoke to you about being raised in the community of Campbell. Let's talk a little bit about your family life. Do you have any siblings?
Yes, I do. I do not have any sisters, which is a bit sad. However, I have 3 brothers. They're all younger than me. One is in 5th form and the other is in 2nd form.
Okay, so you're a big sister.
Yes, I am.
That's great. Okay, so now that you're here preparing for the pageant, this journey to the throne, so far, what have you been able to grasp? What have you learned? How has the journey so far, made you different?
That's a very good question. Well, the journey to the throne has been quite a challenge, I would say. However, it managed to improve my time management skills, my confidence, for one, which is one of the main reasons I decided to participate in the pageant, and exposure to a lot of different stuff.
And as you say, exposure to a lot of different things, it brings to mind, when you expose yourself like this for people to have different opinions of you. For instance, for me, when I, participated in the Miss Dominica pageant in 2001, which is like many months ago, we were not exposed to the opinions of people that way in terms of social media. But now people, behind their phones and behind their computers, they can give, their opinions about you. Some of them good, some of them not so very good. How have you been able to deal with that sort of exposure?
I have been asked these questions a few times, and I would have to say that I accept the constructive criticism. However, I do not pay any mind to the destructive criticism. So it's quite challenging having to deal with that criticism. However, I don't pay any mind to the negative.
Well, was there any time during that journey so far you felt like, oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? I think I need to leave this thing alone, even if you've already signed the contract, but you feel like,
Right.
I can't do this.
I think we've all felt that way at some point in our life, and with the pageant, I may have thought of it a few times. However, I always tell people that if you never feel like giving up, you're not doing something right.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that. Why does Aliyah Martin want to be Miss Dominica?
I would like to be Miss Dominica for one main reason. My platform stands for men achieving leadership excellence, and I would like to take a stance for the men in Dominica, as I believe that they can achieve a lot more.
Okay, so now that you've brought it up, your platform, let's sort of unpack it a little bit more. So your platform is about empowering men, you said. Do you have any initiatives in mind, or how do you hope to achieve that?
Well, it is a start to actually speak to the men of Dominica, and I have been doing a lot of that lately. I had the privilege of visiting the prison to speak to a few young men and listening to their opinion, what they want to see more of, what they can achieve, what is the holdback, and in ways that I can improve that. I did mention to them that I may not be able to provide jobs. However, I can speak to people on their behalf and just get something going for them.
Okay, so more like a one-on-one sort of, personally impacting the lives of people.
Right.
How was that experience for you? I mean, visiting the prison, was it your first time?
It was my first time speaking to them as a group. However, I have been to the prison before to visit a few people.
Okay, so what was the response from them like?
It was very impressive. It was different. It was not what I expected, but I did enjoy the experience. They are very intelligent young men, and they have the concept of life figured out, and they do know what they want.
So why this though? Why is this topic? Why are you passionate about this topic? Why this topic out of every other thing that you could try to raise awareness for?
I think the men of Dominica are not at the level that I think they can be. And with that being said, in the year 2018, I believe that that year surpassed other years where promising young men lost their lives due to criminal activities, motorcycles, and so on. And I gave it a thought, and I was like, maybe I can do something for the men of Dominica. I'm only one person. However, I can pull a group of people together and do something for them.
Okay, wonderful. So if you were to be crowned Miss Dominica, would you be the first Miss Dominica from the community of Campbell? I think you would be.
Yes, I would be.
And how would that feel? And, what do you think that would bring to your community?
Lots of joy, and I would have to say that they would be very proud of me. They are very supportive, and it would be a first. However, I know that I would always be their queen because they are one of the main reasons why I decided to take part in the pageant.
How so?
Their support.
The support.
They considered me a queen before I entered the pageant.
That's impressive.
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay, so we've spoken about your journey so far. In terms of the experience, what is it you're enjoying on this journey? Something that if you had to pick one thing that you're really excited about, I'm really happy I decided to be a contestant because of this particular thing, what would that be?
The events.
The events.
Leading up to the pageant. We have the opportunity of going to a lot of places that I haven't been before. I would have to say the cruise ship is one of the examples. And having fun with the girls.
How is your relationship with them, though, seeing that you brought this up?
We have a connection. Sometimes we do not feel like we are in a pageant, feel like sisterhood. However, at the end of the day, I hope to maintain that bond after the show.
Okay, so what is it about the relationship among you think make you so tight-knit, as you're saying?
Well, we support each other and we encourage each other. If someone is not feeling like they can go through with that show, we encourage each other. So I believe that's one of the things that I respect the most.
Okay, so earlier on, you spoke about your sponsors. Yes. You want to talk a little bit more about your sponsors?
Okay. Well, my sponsor, Corisab Inc., is, like I said earlier, a registered full-service architecture, engineering and construction management company, and they have been in operation for 3 years. So it's a young company, and it is operated by 2 young men. So that again shines light on my platform.
On your platform.
Men achieving leadership excellence.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the night of the pageant. I know probably you've gotten this question before. Right. What round are you looking forward to in the pageant?
The talent round, I would have to say. Lots of energy I would bring to the stage, and something creative and different.
That's about all you're going to say about that. Yes. Yes.
I look forward to all the rounds, but I would have to say the talent stands out the most for me.
There are 5 of you this year. Normally there are 7 girls. There are 5 of you this year. If you were to speak to any young lady about being a Miss Dominica contestant, what would you say to encourage them to participate?
That the Miss Dominica pageant is a good opportunity for any young woman of Dominica. It gives a lot of exposure to public speaking to build your self-confidence. And I believe that any young woman should be willing to take part in the pageant as you gain experience. And it's an opportunity to have fun, to further your education as you will receive a scholarship, and ignoring the criticism.
If you were to win and get that same scholarship that you spoke about, what is it you want to pursue?
I have a passion for law. Therefore, I would go ahead and further my studies in the law field.
Why law?
I would like to contribute to the prosecution system and to serve justice for the people, the innocent people.
For the innocent people?
Yes, for the innocent people.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. We know that the pageant is very soon, in a few weeks, if we have all those weeks, probably how many weeks? 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
It's about 2 weeks and
2
a few
weeks
days.
and a few days. So you have the opportunity now to speak to Dominica and encourage them to come to the pageant, encourage them to support you as a contestant in the pageant. So I'll give you about a minute to go ahead and do that.
Thank you. Back to you, Dominica. I encourage each and every one of you to come support me and my 4 sisters as we vie for the title of Miss Dominica 2019 on the night of March 1st. This is a show that you would not like to miss, as there will be poise, elegance, and talent. See you there.
And see you there. Thank you so much for joining us on this first episode of Journey to the Throne. And we spoke with contestant number 1, Aliyah Martin. She's 20 years old and she represents the community of Campbell. Stay tuned for our second episode where you get to know contestant number 2 vying for the title of Miss Dominica 2019. I'm your host, Kimani Serja. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.